a billion things we do not understand. There's an infinite number of things.
But then why would you rule out one of the explanations? What if it wasn't God or intelligence? Why would you rule that out?
If you're going to propose that it was a deity that did this, you have to give me evidence.
Well, I did.
What? Where?
Well, just look around you at creation.
No, that's not evidence.
Okay.
We were saying,
all right, does the sun shrink or grow or expand?
well, it's going to do
There is
both.
scientific evidence that the sun shrinks, right?
Yes. It's
Okay.
busy burning hydrogen.
So at the rate that it is shrinking, if you reverse that, there's no way that Earth could have been a million years older and would have burned up.
Oh dear. No, now we're getting into the realm of misconceptions about
Well,
physics.
look, if your tactic is to ridicule, I don't think that's fair. How can you get by with using words like moron and insane and crackpot, but yet we try to give you an honest question? We're not scientists, we're admitting that. But you can sit there and laugh. Do you ever lose credibility by doing that?
I find it you lose credibility when you tell me that the sun is shrinking at too greater a rate to have existed for more than a million years.
That was by a Chinese scientist that I read. He's not even a Christian. Okay?
Well, I'm sorry I didn't bring this book with me, but there's a great book called Planet Creationism Handbook by Mark Eisen, which covers all the fields that I'm not an expert in.
But you're not answering. If you can, if you can draw a strong conclusion, like you have, then you have to be able to answer the question.
Like I said, I am not a physicist. Are there any physicists here who can answer his question? Okay, can you explain?
What would be the question?
Well,
so how the sun is shrinking at a rate that he says would be, he says the sun is shrinking at a rate that would mean it could not possibly be more than a million years old.
Oh, no.
I'll get you the article.
I can send you articles that will explain the exact opposite, that it fits well with cosmology. We understand what's going on there.
So the point is that we're looking at the same evidence. And we're offering different explanations. Yes.
No, because
you're looking at the earth and creation.
No, you're inventing false evidence.
No,
I'm not a physicist, but if you talk to the physicists, they will explain to you. They can carefully explain to you rates of expansion and contraction of the universe, the sun, the rate of burning fuel, and they will tell you what the rates are. They can do the calculations and show you that no, this is not true.
If I could just finish my sentence.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that if you can't say we are not looking at the same evidence, because if you let me finish,
I'm glad you finished.
the creationists are looking at the same fossils that you are. They're looking at the same piece of dirt. Okay? They're looking at the same whatever. They're looking at the same piece of physical, natural, material evidence. And they're offering a different explanation. Now, all I'm saying is that why would an honest pursuit of truth rule one explanation out completely?
That's what an honest pursuit of truth has to do. It has to rule out conclusions that are false.
Not by presupposition, though.
No, by testing, by experimental evaluation, by comparison with other specimens.
You just ruled it out again. And you've used words like moron and ignorant. And
which I think are well deserved.
Where's the seeking of truth in that? And now you're blaming me for talking too much. That's pretty minor compared to
No. What's going on here is first of all, what you're doing is pulling a rather dishonest trick that I'm exposed to all the time. Now you can listen to me.
Okay, hold on.
I'm a biologist. Okay, this is my realm of expertise, and this happens every time I talk to a room about creationists. They will never challenge me on the biology because they know I will squash them flat. Instead, what I get to hear about is cosmology. I get to hear about geology. I get to hear about.
You addressed cosmology. You brought it up. You pontificated on the philosophy. That's why I specifically would address you on the philosophical issue.
And you bring up this bogus business of different presuppositions, which is not true. I have read philosophy.
And I have degrees in science. So apparently we both have the opportunity to challenge each other on some of the same issues, even if you're not an expert in it, right?
Well, sure. But It is. Because if there were a physicist sitting up here, he would be able to recite to you the facts and figures that show that you're making sense. Right there, right behind you.
Regarding physics, astronomy, astrophysics, that's much simpler than biology, and it's very easy to understand, really. And there are no really inconsistencies. The one problem that general physics has is that there is a surprising coincidence of certain physical constants being within a range which makes life possible in our universe. If you randomly chose those constants, basic physical laws, life would never occur again. So, this is where you have to play your tango with equations. And
Well, that's where physicists have to play.
Physics can reverse anything that they can.
But I have a simple answer to that one, and that is, if the constants were not appropriate for life, we wouldn't be here arguing about it. In fact, if you wanted to give me evidence of the existence of God, it would be to find yourself in a universe with different constants.
Yeah, that's the way
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Meyer, just one more.
Okay.
Why is it then that when a creationist offers something that he's read about the sun shrinking at a certain rate, rather, if you were honestly pursuing the truth, would you say, "Oh, really? I want to hear about that," as opposed to just laughing?
But no, what I would honestly do if I'm interested in truth is I'm going to ask you, because you've already admitted you're not physicists, you don't understand this stuff. You don't have the evidence. What I would do is go to an independent source. And that's what I do. What I will do is when I get home,
That's a good answer.
I will pull out my book, my physics book, which discusses specifically this problem, and I'll find the answer. And the answer will say, creationists are full of shit.
I rest my case. You just lost all your credibility.
Wait a minute, now, here's the case because what has happened is that,
Just because you're popular here doesn't mean you have credibility.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if we look at the evidence, if we look at the facts, if we look at the science, I can predict it will show you are wrong. And what will immediately happen is if I had that, I wish I could remember to bring that book with me. If I could have turned the page and explained this to you. But if I had done that, you would immediately say, okay, well, here's this other piece of evidence. You're telling me something about the accumulation of moon dust. Or you tell me about,
Yeah,
what
it's pretty strong.
the moon dust argument?
No, the sun. If the sun truly is shrinking, that is a strong argument. Which is,
But it's
if that is true,
it's not changing at the rate you're talking about.
saying it's coming from
Let somebody else go.
Okay, my leg is drying, I should get back to work on it.
Okay.
I think we should just say two things. One, we don't have 100% sure knowledge that
Correct.
creation is 100%. So if you're being a little absolute, and two, we don't have 100% that he's correct. So both of you being way too absolute, and you should just kind of coexist a little bit here right now. And you can argue at what wasn't.
First of all, I promise I'm not going to think about shooting them. or vice versa. But no, we can say things with great certainty when we can say that certain things are false. We can say that the Earth is definitely older than 10,000 years. That all the evidence piles up and shows that it is so. And you can't change one of those pieces of evidence without having the whole cascade fall apart. People who say the Earth is only 10,000 years old are not just making an arbitrary statement about geology. They are making a statement that claims to refute all of physics, chemistry, geology, astronomy, everything from the ground up. And it would take mighty powerful evidence in order to do that. And simply saying that the sun is shrinking at the wrong rate, when the actual evidence shows it's not, is not that kind of refutation.